Mandalorian episode 3 review.
Yeah,
we didn't get to watch it together this week.
No,
but
you had to go buy a dumb car. No, I like your car. I like your car.
Yeah. Car shipping took forever. But this episode and spoilers for everyone listening. This episode was so interesting. Like it threw me off so hard. Like and so for context, the episode opens with a big like space fight where whoever we don't even know is chasing.
I think we know.
I mean, we maybe like my thought is that it's like the Imperial Remnant that's like was in the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. But like I think we know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, because.
Who wants to tell me? I mean,
well, later in the episode, you learn like when the scientist goes to meet the other members of the what's that word that they're amnesty?
Yes,
their amnesty. Like his
co-workers.
Yeah. They mentioned that Moff Gideon escaped.
I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Okay,
but yeah. So I think that's what that is.
Okay,
and
that's interesting.
Here's the thing. Now, I know Bo-Katan said like, "Oh, I've pissed off a few Imperial blah blah blahs." I think someone like Moff Gideon would have more of a personal grudge to go bomb Bo-Katan's home than just like maybe some Imperial who's
and
what's their face is.
I mean, it also gives another motivation of him wanting to kill Mando.
Right.
Like obviously he was the one who basically imprisoned him.
Right.
So, that's a strong possibility. But like after
and also she. Sorry, no, go on. I'll bring it up later.
But yeah, I was gonna say after we get off of this, like intense like first space fight,
and this is like one of the best space fights.
It was pretty good.
It wasn't like in space necessarily, but this was a really good, strong.
There was a few like points where I didn't think logic super held up.
Like what?
Like I don't know. Like there was a lot of moments, and this is sure you can pick this out of any Star Wars like piece of media, but it felt like they're not TIE fighters, but whatever they are, were shooting at like when Mando goes like straight up.
Yeah.
There's no he's not doing any maneuvering. He's just going straight up, and the dude cannot hit his ship once. He said he didn't even have a scratch on his ship. I don't know. It's just like it's just like the little things like that. But I don't know. It's like it was good. Yeah.
If you take that out of it, I mean, like what do you think? If you took that bit out of it,
sure.
Because I thought it was sick.
Yeah. A lot of it was sick. I agree. Yeah. But yeah, like after that, we get the Mandalorian title sequence, and then we go to Coruscant. Yeah. And we're just in Coruscant, and my jaw dropped. I could not believe.
I knew you were gonna like it.
We were back in Coruscant. Yeah. I've been wanting this for so long. We really haven't.
I mean, the fact is, like, I know you've seen like 3 episodes of Andor, 4 maybe,
right? 3.
Yeah. Okay, 3. So like we're on Coruscant a lot, dude.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I'll go back and watch Andor. Yeah.
Because this was like a very Andor-esque episode. Which
a lot of people were saying, is this just Andor? Or are we just watching Andor right now?
Which this was not as good as an episode of Andor, in my opinion. Yeah, but it was still. I'm super glad that it happened. I liked it.
I really did like this story. But like for context, after this opening title sequence, we are following 2 other very minor characters from the first 2 seasons for 38 minutes. 38 minutes. That's a whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like I like the story, but I have to start being okay with not following the main characters of a story, which I don't know if I should be, because like I'm referencing Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Right. Where Mandalorian was the main character for 2 straight episodes.
Right.
And I'm like, well, this is not the Mandalorian. Like, why are we getting these scenes here? But like with this, I don't know where we would get it otherwise. Like I think this needs to be in Mandalorian.
Well,
but
to push back against that a little bit, I would say that unlike Book of Boba Fett, this episode is still bookended by the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is in the most bare bones way, but yeah.
And these characters were strictly part of Moff Gideon.
Sure.
Part of like the Mandalorian story. And it is teasing up a larger plot line happening.
So basically, what these two characters go through is that they, after Moff Gideon's takedown, they are put into the amnesty program and relocated to Coruscant. And so one is Dr. Parrish,
Pushking?
Pushking? Okay, there it is. And
Puffskeen.
Do you remember the other
Elia Kane?
Elia Kane.
Yeah.
And so basically we get a very slice of life time with the Doctor for quite some time. Basically just seeing him live his life and get acclimated to Coruscant. But we see that he's not fully happy. He wants to continue his research and the New Republic doesn't let him. That's something I do want to discuss. I really was a fan of how they portray the New Republic in this episode, especially at first, where it was like they're doing things different from the Empire. They're like the Empire would have just slaughtered all these people, but they see the value in the people who worked for the past Empire and want to have them help out the New Republic. But they're doing it in a very like dystopian way, at least on Coruscant, because man, the robot he goes to have these checks with, that's not doing anything. Like to me, they're not really monitoring him there. They just want the no, and that's what feels dystopian to me.
They want to know.
They want the no, like the no answer from him. Like, no, I'm not mad at anybody. No, I'm not. Like, yes, I'm acclimating well. Like, they just want those straight answers.
Yeah,
and
it's very. It reminded me of Blade Runner.
Sure, yeah, that's very Blade Runner, right? And then at the end we get the basically the new, newly presented mind flayer, which is not a mind flayer,
right?
And and that's
the guy was like, I just used it last week.
yeah. Who knows how bad that guy's brain is?
He could be telling the truth. I will. So with there's been discussion that people were saying that like, well, the New Republic doesn't seem very much better than the Empire. And I can see why people would think that it is better.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
This is the only case I've seen where it's like it's felt negative,
But it's interesting, like you were saying, that they see the value in these former Imperial officers or whatever.
Even officers as recent as like last year or something.
Right. But it's like they see the value in the people, but they don't see the value in the technology, which is whatever. It's I get like it's all for like the story, I guess. Yeah. But it is interesting also, like after the Doctor has his speech about like, why he wants to continue the research, especially with like his mother, if she just had like a simple organ, clone transplant, all these, again, aristocrats pretty much are like, oh, Empire, New Republic, I can't keep track of all of it. It's like you really see like what a good majority of people who are in power in the Star Wars universe, and obviously also mirroring today, just are like, oh yeah, I mean, I just don't say anything, and just
like one of them were literally like, I try to stay out of it, and I was like, wow, that's just perfect, So
it's like nobody really gives a shit about the name. It's just like whoever's in power, they're just like, yeah.
Well, I would say probably like mostly the elites of Coruscant is that group.
But those are the people that he's like pleading to, and like they don't. No one gives a shit about anything. It would seem.
That's what I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's wrestling with it. I would wonder like, what if he said like, no, I'm unhappy with. Like I'm not doing like I'm kind of mad at the New Republic. Would they just like bring in people to like figure out something, or would they like exile him?
I think they made that like the Doctor had made that not a threat, but like he had alluded to the fact that they would be sent back to like the amnesty training program. So I don't know exactly what that is, but it didn't sound pleasant.
Yeah, it was probably just like really monotonous and annoying.
Right. So yeah, like probably not huge consequences until the mind flare, but we still get Elia Kane kind of introduced halfway through this now, where she was an officer from Moff Gideon. I almost didn't remember her, but I guess she had that like moment like last season where she was like, "What do you need me to do?"
Right.
And so yeah, she played a double agent so well. I believed her. I did. I genuinely.
I didn't believe her.
She was doing so much, and like I felt a little skeptical, but like the fact that she was with the doctor on this entire journey for them to get for them to steal these supplies he needs to conduct his research, I was like, okay, like it could be a trap, but like she's with him the whole time. She would be caught too. But boy, that was not the case. They did not care that she was with him, and she just took his supplies. I think that's the thing. I have two theories about why she turned on the doctor.
Sure. What are they?
My theories there are that she needed him to pick out the supplies that he needed for the research.
I think I agree. That's
right. That's probably the most likely thing.
Yeah.
The other is that she needed him to get to the mind flayer so that she could wipe all his memories and fully control him how she wants. I think that is a little more far-fetched, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, I don't see here. I have a lot of questions because one, what is her job in the amnesty program?
We never see it.
Is this her job? Like
it almost sounded like it because
like seeing if they'll do the thing,
right? Because they applauded her for doing this, right? They were like, "Oh, well, you made a good call. You called it. He needed this."
Or are those New Republic officers that like look at him or arrest him? Are they on like the take with like a Moff Gideon or?
I didn't get that impression.
And I
think she's working the system really well.
I think she's doing something for Moff Gideon.
Yes.
And my thing is that so he picks out the supplies or whatever. Like to me, like if she's wiping his memories, like will he remember how to do anything? So like is it that they have another doctor that like would do something for them? And if they did, like, wouldn't that doctor know what supplies they needed? So I'm just curious as to what exactly is going on.
Right. Because that was such a long time for us just to get the reveal that Elia Kane is still evil and then just to wipe the doctor's memories all over again. So like it was a really good story, but it didn't lead to like a lot,
Yeah, and the fact that like the previous 2 seasons we got pretty much an episode per season of like what the cloning thing is.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get any resolution this season.
No way. No, I think for sure we get more cloning talk. Like we're gonna see more from Elia Kane this season.
This season,
absolutely. To me, this is like because the end of the episode, we go back to Bo-Katan and Din, and they give proof to the armor that they have been to the Living Waters, and now Bo-Katan is looked at as one of the followers of this select group of Mandalorians, right? Because she hasn't taken her helmet off. The fact that we got this basically the resolution that we were talking about last week with the Mandalorian, where he's like fully redeemed, and we don't know anything else at this point. I think that was the whole reason for this episode to reintroduce us to the main villain plot. Like I think this is now the main plot of this season. Like us finding out what the Imperial Remnant are like up to at this point.
Yeah, I like that. I hope you're right.
I would hope so too, because I think that's a very cool thread to follow. You know, I was kind of bummed originally that Moff Gideon's thread was just done. You know.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's coming back.
I don't like that he just simply escaped, but you know, whatever. What are you gonna do?
I think with having Din and Bo-Katan a part of this, mostly Bo-Katan, it's interesting with her because I think there's two trains of thought. One, she's like, maybe I'm like starting to believe things because she's like, did you see anything down there in those waters? She's asking all these questions, and that now like she sees like how close knit they are, and like the reverie they have for their creed, and she's like, maybe like I can believe in things again. The other side of it is maybe she's like a little bit, hey, I can. Here's my army.
Sure, there's that too, right? Like, I also don't think it was a coincidence that she didn't take her helmet off. Like, I think like in the moment it was made to look like that, but I think subconsciously she didn't want to take it off after like watching what, you know, Din went through. Like, I think she super respected that journey and was almost kind of like honoring that, you know?
Maybe.
Right.
But I think most likely there's a bit of both where it's like I think like my belief in being a Mandalorian is coming back, or at least like what they think about it. But I think there's another part of it's that like, hey, if I like don't take my helmet off, I can maybe like use them to get Mandalore back,
because that's more followers that she's had, you know, in a long time.
Yeah. So again, we're just like last week.
Right. We're just kind of, shooting.
We don't know where things are going, which is exciting, but also I would like to know where we're going.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the fact that episode 3 deals so heavily with 2 minor characters up to this point, like, I think that is telling of like where this plot's going.
Now, one thing that I'm kind of surprised you haven't brought up that I've been noticing, they really don't know what they're doing with Grogu, it would seem.
Yeah. I feel you. Like, you know, in each episode they've had the thread where he has been training him in the Mandalorian ways, but that's pretty much it. You know, like I'm really starting to think that, you know, and it's not like all the characters had a big plot this episode. Like Din, well, they did. Din and Bo-Katan both did. But, like it's really starting to feel like the creators wanted to get rid of Grogu at the end of season 2, and now they have been forced to bring him back and just kind of find a way to fit him into the plot. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully his story gets stronger. But like I said,
but he doesn't really have a story.
That's the thing. I think he's fully been developed, and his plot's over. Like he's now just training. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
kind of a bummer though.
It is.
But it was, I will say this, although it's not a traditional episode, might be my favorite of the season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the first 2 episods weren't very strong.
I mean, the second one I liked. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
I kind of liked it at the most.
But this one's definitely like,
no, this one was super cool.
I think this is the best one so far.
Yeah.
Though I don't think everything worked with the Doctor storyline. I do like the mountain thing on Coruscant. Like, what's that rock? And it's like,
oh, yeah.
Little mythology.
No, that was cool. I like that a lot.
No, what were they eating? That shit was weird. Those light up like ice cream things.
I kind of like that. I mean, things are just weird on Coruscant.
Was just so weird with their mouths on those things.
Did you? I don't know. Maybe it was me, but at points the Doctor looked very CGI.
I think
it was his glasses were perfect. Like there was something about them.
Again, with like some like with The Last of Us, we're talking about the giraffe almost looking CGI. Right. I think it's just when like but the giraffe was real. I think it's because they shoot on these volume and green screen things. It's like certain things just, whether it's the frame rate or something, it's just. My
argument against that is that like there were scenes with both the Doctor and Elia Kane. And I thought Elia Kane looked great. Like she looked like a normal person. And then I thought there was CGI on the Doctor. Like it didn't matter that it was like that it was the scene background. I thought it was like the difference in characters, you know? But I don't know.
Just specifically the glasses?
A little bit of his face too. But I mean, like his glasses, like I don't know. They looked perfect at points. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just over noticing or over analyzing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I guess that's our thoughts on this week's episode, and we'll continue on next week.
5 more episodes.
And we still haven't gotten a review, as far as I know.
Hey, that frame picture is waiting for your picture on it.
Yeah. So if anybody hasn't heard, if you want to leave us a review, has to be a good review.
Yeah.
Can't be a 1-star.
It's got to be a 5-star.
If you give us a 5-star review, we will get a frame picture of it, and we'll put it on our Instagram or maybe something else, but most definitely on Instagram, and we will frame it.
Absolutely.
Okay. You'll be the first review. So
if that's enticing to you,
if that means anything to you at all.
Yeah. But if you want to listen to more episodes of the podcast in the future, we release on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays. And if you want to listen to these episodes, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. If you want to interact with us on social media, we're on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok at LastWeekThisWeekPod. But yeah, I think we would also greatly appreciate the support if you liked what you heard today. Through a like, a comment, a rating, any of those. If you liked what you heard, we appreciate it.
Cheeky DM. No, don't do that.
Sure.
No, please. No? Well, I mean, just don't be
whatever
weird.
You're feeling.
Don't be weird.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much for listening to today's podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time.